Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Its-A-Mii here, and today we are talking about the games that I played in January 2025. January was a very productive month for me, not for uploading on this channel, but for playing games. I managed to get a lot knocked off the backlog, a couple of new releases, and some surprise stuff as well that I wasn't really planning on getting into this year. I posted that video going over my backlog goals for 2025, and we'll talk about a few of those games in this video, but there were a couple extra things I threw in, decided to, just on the impulse, go ahead and play, so we'll be talking about those as well. Every game we'll be talking about today, except for one, I actually beat. I have finished all of these games throughout January, so a lot of games that aren't 60 or 70 hours, kind of pumping the brakes on my JRPG madness that I went through in 2024. But starting off, I beat this game on January 1st, although we started playing it at the end of December last year, is A Way Out. This is from Hazelight, the developers of It Takes Two. Of course, they have their new game, Split Fiction, coming out very soon, so I wanted to play through this with Olivia, my girlfriend, to kind of prepare ourselves for Split Fiction, and unsurprisingly, it's pretty good. It's not as good as It Takes Two. If you've played It Takes Two, you know how high the ceiling is for Hazelight now. Their co-op games are so incredible, but A Way Out, I remember seeing it announced, I want to say at the Game Awards, or maybe like an Xbox or Sony E3, or actually it might have been an EA E3 back when they still did those, but A Way Out is the game that Joseph Harris released after Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons on PS3. I believe that was under 505 Games. Basically tells the story of these two guys who are in prison, and you're breaking out of prison, but then it unfolds, and there's all these like interpersonal dramas and stuff, and it's a co-op adventure. So one player plays as Vincent, the other person plays as Leo, and it has this very cinematic feel to it where you constantly have two cameras on screen at all times. It is a great local multiplayer game, although I believe you also can play it online. And the great thing about Hazelight and their co-op experiences so far, anyway, is that if you buy a copy of the game, they give you like a free friends pass. Yeah, I'm looking at the box here for A Way Out. I picked this up used, but as you can see there, it says join online co-op for free with a friend, or a friend to join online co-op for free. So Hazelight, despite being published by EA, Hazelight is very good about like not being greedy. Your friend doesn't have to buy a copy. If you have not played It Takes Two, I definitely recommend starting there. It Takes Two is an incredible game. So much genre variety in what you're doing in that game. And for someone like Olivia, who doesn't really play games that much, their games aren't like really hard or anything. There were a few times in A Way Out, like there's this one motorcycle kind of chase scene. She was having trouble with the controls. She doesn't hold a controller very often, so there are times like that. But overall, I would say their games are designed in a way that is very like user-friendly for people that don't often play video games, but also still really enjoyable for those that are more experienced. So A Way Out, we really enjoyed playing through that together. We enjoyed it so much, in fact, that a game I was not planning on ever playing again, we decided to pick up the Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, a remake. This was on sale on PSN. It got remade a couple of years ago, I want to say maybe 2023, and this is a full, I think it's Unreal Engine 5 remake of their original game Brothers. Before it was Hazelight, when it was just Joseph Harris, I think at 505 Games, and I played this on PS3. I actually played it, I think it was on PS Plus at some point or something, so I played it back then. It's designed as a single-player experience, however you use twin sticks to move to two brothers, of course, the tale of two sons. You're going on this mystical journey to save your father, get some potion for him, and in the remake, they kind of just like brute forced added co-op, so that way you can have two people playing it on two different controllers. But the way it works is because it's, brute force co-op. For me, as player one, I only controlled the left stick, the left side of the controller, and then she only used the right side of her controller as player two. It's a little weird. It's a little janky. It's also weird because we did go for the platinum in both of these games. Got the platinum in A Way Out, and we got the platinum in the Brothers remake. For some reason, the trophies didn't pop for her, which, I mean, she doesn't really care. She's not trophy hunting, but, like, it still would have been nice. She's playing the game with me. She's enjoying it. Give her the trophies, too. So, some weird technical stuff aside, and the fact that it isn't really designed for co-op, it was still a really fun experience, and I would say, overall, if I had to rank the 3 Joseph Harris games that I've now played, I've played all of his stuff. It Takes Two is easily number 1. Then below that would be Brothers. I really like the setting, the fantasy setting of Brothers, and the kind of different places you go. There's, like, this whole Giants area, which is really cool. And then A Way Out at the bottom. A Way Out is still really good. It's just not quite on that level, I would say. I think A Way Out feels like something that EA forced them to make. It's like, this was their first project with EA as an EA original. It kind of feels like EA was telling Joseph Harris and his team, like, listen, we don't do that cutesy kid stuff, man. You gotta prove it with a hardcore realistic game that'll appeal to Western audiences. So they didn't get to like fully unleash themselves. So of the 3 games that Joseph Fares has done, I would say A Way Out is my least favorite, but it's still a pretty solid time. So after finishing up those 2, I was looking at my backlog and I was like, okay, what's a good one to get through now? Because I have like multiple entries I want to get through this year. And of course there is the new Professor Layton game coming out, and I played a lot of these games, but I haven't finished the later entries. So I started up and finished all the way through Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask for the 3DS. This is one that I've been meaning to play for a very, very long time, and with New World of Steam coming out, I figured, you know what, I need to do this. I need to play this game alongside Azran Legacy and alongside maybe Catriel. But really, those core 6 original Layton games, I need to get through all of those. Of course, I grew up playing the original trilogy on DS, love those games, played through Last Spectre for the first time like 2 years ago, and really love that. I've tried to play Miracle Mask over the years. In fact, I tried to play it back when it like came out, I think, in like 2013, 2014 here in America. Maybe 2012? Something like that. It's an earlier 3DS game. I didn't love it. The setting is cool. Monte d'Or is a cool setting, like the circus, nighttime circus village. I like that. There's some cool stuff with the plot, and you get some cool Layton backstory, but I think the puzzle design has fallen off a cliff at this point. I really wasn't enjoying the puzzles. The music's still great as always. I think all Professor Layton music is really good. But I don't know, the puzzles were not grabbing me like they did in the other games. And I was thinking, like, oh, maybe I'm just not liking it because I'm not playing it as a kid. Maybe these puzzles are too easy for me, because most of them were. But I didn't feel that way about Last Spectre, so I don't really have an answer for you for why Miracle Mask did not click with me. I don't like the visuals. I think the visuals are a huge step down over the 2D arts in Last Spectre, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I'll talk about it next month probably, but I did start Azran Legacy, and those 3D models definitely got cleaned up quite a bit, so we'll talk more about that next time. But I don't know, the puzzle design and the visuals of this game, I don't know, it wasn't clicking with me. Like I said, the music's good, the story's decent. I think the plot twist and all that, like, that's really, really predictable in this game in a way that, you know, the other games aren't hard exactly to predict, but Miracle Mask, it's like freaking 20 minutes in, you already know what the end goal is. Like, you already know the end plot twist, and maybe that's part of my enjoyment kind of being hampered with this game. But yeah, it's definitely my least favorite Layton game. I'm glad I finally played it, so I'm glad to have finally gotten through this, and I'll play through Azran Legacy next. But not one I loved, I gotta be honest. I know that's controversial. I think a lot of people love Miracle Mask. But yeah, I don't know, it just really didn't click with me. There's a really weird chapter towards the end that's, spoiler alert, it's like a weird dungeon crawler, like Pokemon gym. Like, you know, like the old school Pokemon gyms where you like push a block and it slides across ice. There's an entire chapter that's like that for like an hour, and that was really bad. I don't know. It's fine. I wasn't loving it like I hoped I would. But after I finished Miracle Mask, I played a classic GameCube game that I've never played before. I talked about it in the last pickups video, but that is Star Fox Assault for the Nintendo GameCube. I've been on a lot of a first-party kick recently in terms of collecting. You'll definitely see that in the next pickups video. But I realized, man, there's a lot of GameCube games I haven't played. And there was a rumor like 2 or 3 weeks ago of like a new Star Fox Adventures. I don't think that's true, but I wanted to play through Star Fox Assault and Adventures this year. I was not planning on doing that a month ago, but now they're, you know, high up on the list. And I played through Star Fox Assault. It's not a long game, maybe 5 hours at most. Most Star Fox games aren't very long. And up until now, my only real experience has been the original game, Star Fox 64, and like a tiny bit of Zero. I've actually never finished Zero, one of the few first-party Wii U games I have not played all the way through. Star Fox Assault is definitely the best of those because the on-rail R-Wing sections are actually really, really good. There's some really cool stuff in this game. The plot is the best in this game. I love the entire, like, Aperoids. I think they're really cool, and there's some really cool stuff with Fox and Wolf, and this is the game that made me like kind of really appreciate Star Fox in a way I haven't had. However, huge asterisk on this. First of all, the controls not good in general. Controls exceptionally bad in the on-foot sections. I guess originally this game was designed to be a multiplayer only thing. The reception was bad. Nintendo added on a single player. That's what I saw in a YouTube video. Don't hold me to it. I think that's true. But there's these really bad on-foot sections where you play as Fox, you're running around with a blaster, you can pick up other weapons, and you can kind of change what you're shooting with, and it's bad. These levels are awful. Like, If the game was just these, I would say it's like a 3 out of 10. Like it's really, really bad. These levels are not fun. You have the Landmaster, which also is like, it's kind of cool to get into the Landmaster, but it's really those on-rail sections that are really great. I think they're the best in the Star Fox series, but it's really the story and the characterization of the entire squad, and yeah, those on-rail sections that really did it for me. I kind of really enjoyed it, but also I kind of hated it because every second or third mission you're on foot, and the game just gets really bad. So this has made me very hopeful for a future Star Fox game that is just an on-rail shooter. just please do that. Don't reboot 64. Just make a new thing, because Star Fox Assault, from my understanding, having played, I mean, at this point, half the series, Star Fox Assault is really the only one that actually, like, kind of did something different. They're all kind of just retreading 64. So for that, I have to applaud it. And for those on-rail missions that are very good, I definitely enjoyed that quite a bit. I also really love, they're kind of tacked on mostly to the on-foot missions, but there are times where you'll let Falco, or I believe Slippy, fly the ship while Fox is standing on the wing with a blaster. Those are really cool, really cinematic, and make me excited at the prospect of a new Star Fox game, because I think if done right, Star Fox could actually be something really, really special. It's just that every game kind of has something about it that's like not so great. But having played Assault now, I'm excited to play Adventures hopefully later this year. I don't know. I almost feel like Adventures might get a remake or a remaster, some sort of weird Switch eShop release. So I maybe want to hold back. But Assault, I don't know if they would ever redo Assault, although I think people were talking about that a while ago. I kind of doubt it. Maybe a double pack? I don't know. But happy to play through that, and happy to check off another first-party GameCube game from the list. Like I said, there's quite a few, actually, that I haven't played, I realized. I grew up with the GameCube. I played a lot of GameCube games growing up. But I played, Mario Kart, Smash, Luigi's Mansion. I never played Wario World or Geist or Eternal Darkness or Kirby Air Ride until last year, so excited to be trying out some of these more weird, I guess we'll say, Nintendo GameCube games I never played before. Next up is Dynasty Warriors Origins. I don't have a physical copy to hold up here like I normally do. That is because Koei Tecmo sent me a review code. Huge shout out to them. I posted my full review of this. I won't go on too long here, but I will say in that review, I said that I think I still prefer Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. That was still my favorite Warriors game, but it was close. In the weeks since, as I've messed around a little bit more with Origins, of course, I did roll credits. There's the 3 different routes. I finished one route at the time of posting that review. I played a little bit more, and I think it's my favorite Warriors game. It has stuck with me in a way that Warriors games normally don't. They're kind of like junk food in like a good way. I like the repetitive nature of Warriors games. Dynasty Warriors Origins is really sticking with me. I'm thinking about this game day to day. I'm like, dang, they really did it. Koei Tecmo really revitalized this thing. They put the juice back in the series, a series that I've loved, all the crossover games. But as someone new to Dynasty Warriors, the actual core series, Dynasty Warriors Origins is really freaking good. And if you are new to the Warriors subgenre, if you're looking at the trailer and you think it looks interesting, there is a demo. I highly recommend you try out the demo, and just know there really is not a better entry point. If you want like a ton of content, then yeah, maybe Dynasty Warriors 8XL on PS4, maybe you'll get more hours out of that. But if you are new to the series, you want something that looks very cutting edge and ultimately just like the most fun Warriors gameplay that we've had yet, get Dynasty Warriors Origins. I highly recommend it. As the first new release I played through this year, it definitely made a very, very good first impression, and I'm sure I will be talking about Dynasty Warriors Origins at the end of December when we do our year wrap-up video. Maybe it'll even make the top 10. That is how good this game is, and 2025 is looking pretty stacked, so that's saying something. Next up, we did have a new release from Nintendo this year. I wasn't really planning on like doing a full playthrough of this, honestly. I did stream it over on my main channel, Bo Talks Games, but Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I played this game back in 2013 when it came to the 3DS. Never played the Wii version, but I was interested in revisiting this game because for years, after playing Tropical Freeze, which I think is a vastly overrated game. It's a great game, but people say it's like the best 2D platformer of all time. For me anyway, it's nowhere near that level. Ever since I played Tropical Freeze on Wii U and then revisiting it on Switch when it came out in 2018, I've been thinking to myself, dang, from my memory of Country Returns, I think I kind of like Country Returns more. And while I don't think that holds up, I don't think that my little theory I developed holds up, I do think Tropical Freeze is a better game overall. I don't think there's that big of a difference in quality. I think the level design here is as strong as it is in a Tropical Freeze in most areas. I think the music is actually better in this game. A lot of more jazzy tunes in this one. And, I mean, there's some issues with the port, right, for the Switch version. The hitboxes on some of the Barrel Blast levels are really, really bad. Or, sorry, the Rocket Barrel levels, Barrel Blast being a Wii game. That's the racing game. But, yeah, there's some issues with the ports. I was very critical of this port when they announced it because visually it leaves a lot to be desired. I think they could have done a lot more here. But at its core, it's Donkey Kong Country Returns, which I think is a pretty great game. And I'm not trying to just downplay Tropical Freeze, but man, people gas that game up so much. I really don't think it's not better. It's not a better game. It's like at most half a point lower. Like that's at most. I think that might even be a stretch. Realistically, they're probably like the same score in my head. So happy to replay that. I enjoyed it. This is my first time. I got all the Kong letters, so I was able to do World 9, and that was a lot of fun. There's some cool stuff over there. One really annoying level with like this black goop that slows you down. Hated that, but overall, I enjoyed my time playing it. I don't think these games are the best 2D platformers ever made, but I do think they're a solid time. I enjoy these modern retro developed country games. Next up is a game I have not beaten yet, so I will save my full thoughts for next month. But once again, thank you to Koei Tecmo for the review code. They shadow dropped a game during the Xbox Developer Direct, and that is Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I have never played one of the 3D Ninja Gaiden games, and of course they announced Ninja Gaiden 4 being co-developed by Platinum Games. My neurons activated. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta play all of the Ninja Gaiden games this year because it's coming out this fall. And after announcing Ninja Gaiden 4, they shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is an Unreal Engine 5 remake of Ninja Gaiden 2. I streamed the game over on my main channel once again, and I've only done the first, I think, 3 chapters now. I played a little bit off stream, so I'm very early on, but I have to say, very good first impressions. I'll save my full thoughts for next month, but really, really enjoying what I played of it early on. And you know what? It was really funny that Team Ninja decided to show up in a big way this January with the year of the ninja, right? We have Ragebound, we have 4, and we have 2 Black. Because at the time of that shadow drop, I was already more than halfway done a Team Ninja developed Nintendo game, and I've rolled credits on this. This is a big one off the backlog, a game I've been meaning to play for over a decade now to see what all the hype is about, and I am, of course, talking about the Wii game, Metroid Other M. So yeah, of course, I talked about it last month. I need to play through a couple Metroid games this year in preparation for Prime 4, notably Prime 2 and 3, hoping those get a Switch port next month at the February Direct. But I decided while I'm waiting for Prime 2 and 3, why not go ahead and play through Other M? It takes place after Super Metroid, but before Metroid Fusion, so it's in between there. It's obviously way after the Prime games, right? So I figured, you know what, let's just go in and play it. It's pretty separate, different developer, and I already know, like, basically the general plot and everything, right? It's not like I'm getting really spoiled here. I know what happens in these games, even though I haven't really played them before. And this is a game that I've always been almost afraid of, we'll say, because I've only heard bad things. This is really the start of the Metroid dead zone, I would say, for a lot of people, where we had the Prime trilogy in the 2000s, we had Fusion in there, and then we had Other M in 2010, and then there was nothing until Federation Force came out 6 years later. Now, Metroid's in a decent place, right? We had Mercury Steam hop on board with Samus Returns and Metroid Dread, which is one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games. We're getting Prime 4 this year. There was a big bad period of Metroid there, really stemming from Other M and the development of that game and what it actually ended up being, the critic response to it, the fan response to it. This game, at times, is better than I expected, but at times it's also worse than I expected, because usually when someone says, like, oh, a Nintendo game's really bad, I kind of don't believe them. I'm like, oh, it can't be that bad. It's like a 2010 Wii game. How bad could it possibly be? There are times, like I said, where the game's good. My issue with it, though, my core issue, I think a lot of people talk about the plot, how they characterize Samus in this game. You have the one guy calling her princess and stuff. Like, there's some weird stuff that maybe Metroid fans, like the die-hard, like lore builders and the, the people that are going crazy over every little detail about the Galactic Federation. There's some stuff in here that maybe I could see being an issue for that part of the community. My issue with the game is just the controls. The controls in this game are so bad. Oh my god, what were they thinking? Nintendo, why do you do this? Why do you always, Wiimote, gamepad? Let's just stop. Let's just take a break. When I put this disc into my Wii, I was so excited because I was like, oh, I get to lean back, have my nunchuck in my hand, have my Wiimote in the other. No. Unplug your nunchuck. You're holding the Wiimote sideways. Oh god. Okay. Well, that's great. That's just peachy, Nintendo. So you play this game sideways with the Wiimote sideways. The areas are 3D, so you're moving Samus in a 3D space with a D-pad. That's already a big issue. For some reason, I guess because the scanning is so iconic in Metroid Prime, a core gameplay element of Metroid Other M is that you constantly have to point the Wiimotes at the screen. This sucks. It ruins the game. If it was just you hold the Wiimote sideways and you press the one button to shoot your little arm cannon, and it's just a pretty basic action game with some cool counters and like, you know, you do like the cinematic jumps and all that, like that'd be fine. The game design itself, like outside of the controls, like it's fine. It's a fine game. I think the story's fine, the areas are fine, the backtracking's fine. It's a fine game. Having to constantly point the Wiimotes at the screen, especially during combat. This is especially true in boss fights, where you'll be running around, you'll be dodging shots and stuff, and then the enemy exposes a weakness, and you have to go first person to shoot a super missile at it. It's really bad. Like, this is like, people talk about the Wii U gamepad. This is worse than anything that I personally felt while playing any Wii U game. And for me, the most frustrating part is, if they just remove that all from the game, it'd be solid. It wouldn't be like high art or anything. It'd still be worse than Metroid Prime. It'd be worse than any of the 2D Metroid games. But it wouldn't, like, I don't know. For me, it would have been an okay game, like a 6 out of 10, 6.5. And maybe it still ultimately is around there, because I think overall the game is solid. Maybe it's more like a 5. The story stuff, I think actually there's some cool stuff in there. I like the Galactic Federation. I don't know, Adam's cool, and all the different characters. The graphics are cool. It's weird to see like high production value cutscenes with voice acting from a Nintendo game from this era, because they never did that. There's some decent boss fights. Did that secret boss as well. Pretty cool there. But man, those controls. I did not expect that to be my takeaway from Metroid Other M, but really, the Wiimote destroyed this game in a way that I was not expecting. So those are my thoughts on Metroid Other M, and those are my thoughts on all the games I played in January 2025. Apologies for the lack of uploads. Been very busy with work stuff, but also playing games, so haven't uploaded as much as I wanted to this month on this channel. I will have the new releases videos coming out, as well as another pickups video, probably in like mid-February, so stay tuned for that. Just gonna kind of be biding our time for the Switch 2 launch, I think, for a lot of stuff on this channel. But I do want to keep it a little bit more consistent than it has been so far this month. Of course, as always, let me know what games you played in the month of January. I would like to get a conversation going down below. You can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames, and check out my other YouTube channel at the same handle. Until next time, folks, peace!